lovely.
Honestly, rude that I got an ad for it on the stream that I'm on.
So true. Yeah. Really rude.
Honestly, so rude.
No, I suppose not.
Yeah, I've got ads when watching Chill Creation before. I've never had an ad for Iyastera though. It knows.
Did I hear something about Pretzel Rocks there? Aren't they starting to charge? Yeah, they're going to a subscription service. Yeah.
Yay.
Forget the screen. Forget the screen.
I just realized that my mic has been off this whole time. Hey everyone, we have a subscribble and we going live now. But hey, hello. I'm gonna do the Muppet flail. Hello, Scribblers. Thank you, Spooky Molder, for your subscribble. Thank you so very much. And to everyone out there watching us, welcome back. Guys, peeps, folks, heroes, we're back.
Yes.
It has been over a month, and our previous plan of starting off December with some newness clearly did not happen. Yeah, about that. Oh, formerly
Generally.
Fleetfoot Whack. Well, hello, spooky Fleetfoot Molder Whack. I don't think that worked out as well outside of my head, but I'm gonna stick with it.
That's some typing assignment.
Yeah, that's a thing. Yes, so we had every intention and every preparation had been made to do this like 2-3 weeks ago, but then I had to be away for work again, and the Wi-Fi in this apartment, that was horrific, horrendous, horrible. Made me very unhappy at the lack of upload speed. So we were not able to stream, unfortunately, but we are back now and very excited to be here. So when we last were together, oh, so many moons ago, we were in preparation for a grand adventure.
We'd be heading overseas.
You'll be heading over the sea, over lots and lots of water. So you are in Felbray. We'll do a little bit of a bigger recap. You arrived in Felbray and are still trying to find your way to Yokul, to the Alabaster Athenium in search of answers to so many unanswered questions, and that list of questions seems to get longer and longer with each new encounter, each day that passes. You began this adventure in Glenfarra, have traveled through the western regions of Monair, through the Verdian Hills. You found a temple to Uraeus, the cosmic serpent god of knowledge, and learned a little bit more about the goings-on elsewhere in the realm. what began as a mystery surrounding this strange spider-like device that was poisoning, severing the connection of the mother tree in Glenfarra to the natural source of magic that tied it to the land, has now become much larger. You're hearing tales, you're hearing stirrings and whispers of similar incidents happening in Teshkiel, in Ela, other kingdoms that for the most part have not yet been opened to you before Baum and Kendis. Of course, Marlowe and Fenn, you have been a little bit more widely traveled, but even for you, this is the first you've heard of these types of troubles, these stirrings of a disturbance in that natural magic, that glue that binds the world together. So on your search for answers, you've decided to go back to a place that one of you, Kendis, knows all too well. You recognized the mark of a former colleague on this device, on this metallic spider. So your search is taking you back to the Alabaster Athenium, a place where you thought you would not see again, where you would not willingly set foot again, were it not for something as grave as this. So you're in Felbray. Ooh, that's a thematic shift with that music. You're in Felbray. You've had a fun night of gambling and unwinding after the trials that you've found in the hills. Gambling and merrymaking and trying to make some friends, trying to become more accustomed to this life on the road. For some of you, a little bit easier than others. And you've woken up from our last session, and you have found your way to the docks in Felbray, where you met Captain Nadia, the Elin merchant captain of the Aphis. Marlowe, you've crossed paths with Captain Nadia before, getting into a little bit of a tussle with one of her previous crew members, who of course is now no longer part of the crew. But using your charm and your history as a seasoned sailor of the seas, as an adventurer and wanderer, you have been able... Oh my goodness, you've been able to get us another subscribble. Thank you, Knight. Hello, hello. You have been able to gain passage on the Aphis for you and your companions. You have 3 days, according to Captain Nadia, before the Aphis sets sail for Yokul, a place where she and her crew have not been before, but you have promised to aid them as best as you can on their journey, having something to provide, something to share with the crew. But first you have to resupply, you have to prepare, and tie up any loose ends, if at all, here in Felbray. You have not been here very long, but there is still quite a bit to discover. And with that, I think I hit the highlights. We will go on to our opening. Yes?
Nadia mentioned that she hadn't heard from Roscoe in a minute.
Yes, that is true. So that was a key piece of information, another unanswered question to add to your ever-growing list. What happened to Roscoe? According to Nadia, you're one of the last to see him in between the drop-off outside of Glenfarra and the journey which, as far as Nadia knows, culminated in Iyastera, a larger port city farther south along the coastline. Hello, hello, thank you for the follow. Artemis? Thank you, welcome. Cheers to you, friend. Sticking with water, because I am heckin' dehydrated today.
Yeah.
So add that to your list of mysteries to hopefully solve. There are no other questions, comments? Okay. Then let's begin. And we are back. So, travelers, it is still fairly early in the day. You have just left the dock after coming to an agreement with Captain Nadia, nodding in gratitude towards Yannick, the half-orc dockmaster, who helped to point you in the right direction of the Aphis. And now you have 3 days. We will not go one by one for the following 3 days, but I have given you folks a list of different things, different points of interest for you to explore. So we'll do a little bit of a montage if you want to resupply, if you want to try to pull on any of these loose threads that you have found in your time leading here. Each of you have different reasons for being here and different reasons for going on this journey. Now is also a time of reflection and to possibly discuss some things with your fellow party members before you embark. Kendis, you perhaps a little bit more than before start to feel this sense of anxiety, knowing that this is the closest you have been to the Athenium in quite some time. And you know the others have no idea what they're getting into. But with that, what you want to do? What you doing?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, first time viewer. Oh, welcome. You said I pronounced it correctly the second time. Ty Artemis? I hope that's correct. Cheers, friend.
Hey.
Hi.
Hedgewitch.
Timber Smith.
I am
I missed that so much.
I'm unsettled by the prospect of travelling across this body of water. That's a very strange term to me anyway. It's very not bodied. Quite the opposite. I feel I may vomit profusely. And if this happens, it's likely to fill the entire deck of the ship.
Oh,
That
no.
is an unpleasant thought, to say the least. Though I don't know how I feel about having that visual in my mind. At the very least, I'll turn you towards the side of the boat. But in all seriousness, perhaps I can mix something up for you, just to ease with the seasickness. I'm not a huge fan of sea travel myself, so it would benefit me also.
Yeah, just triple the dose.
Kendis just kind of pats Bum lightly on the arm and is like, I'm sure it will all be fine. At the very least, you can sleep it all off for a couple of hours a day.
Yes, I don't want a repeat of my 35th birthday.
Aye, that was, well, I do remember that night fondly, and as promised, we won't speak of what happened again.
Come on. Sorry, that was Scriv the viewer, not Scriv the GM. Sometimes those lines are blurred.
Nothing can be as bad as that particular night, so take solace in that. But yes, let's get
Fenn
some...
and Marlowe are just like,
Wide eyes.
what? What's this?
Go on.
But yes, let's get something sorted for your seasickness and
Yes.
dwell little more on the matter. Yes, where is everyone else looking to explore in the next couple of days?
Well, there's a lovely jewelers and a lovely clothing shop, and there's a place where we can buy lovely pastries. We can just have a lovely, lovely time.
I've actually heard their bookstore, their library is quite extensive. I thought that might be something of interest to you, Hedrich.
I was rather excited by that. I wouldn't mind picking up some new reading material for the journey. Absolutely. And baked goods also sounds good. Though beware, Fenn, I'm pretty sure there's a limit on luggage, so don't buy too much finery. Would be my advice. You don't want to weigh the ship down before it leaves the dock.
Good advice. Otherwise, I would. Not that I have the budget for that, but in my heart.
I would also like to visit the jewelers and pick up some adornments. My earrings are feeling a little bit bland, should we say.
I like your earrings. I think they're quite nice.
No, I want something with more, how should we put it? Bling.
Something shiny.
Yes, some bomb bling.
Just adding bomb to everything. It's like Batman. Batcave. Batmobile.
Yep.
Batarang. Yes! Just bomb on everything. It's a brand.
I am personally going to head towards the forge in the smeltery. I've got some tinkering to do. Perhaps the alchemists.
Who can help me pick up some jewelry? Thank you.
I like look right at Fenn.
I'll absolutely. I would love to.
Excellent.
How can you say no to that face?
And
Can't.
the
You
guy.
can't.
I'll come and see what there is, and yes, why not?
Okay.
Excellent.
So, if I get
Dennis,
this...
do you have any piercings?
Me?
I don't know what you would get pierced, but
Right.
That's not really a thing amongst my people. I can only imagine what my nestmates would say if I came back with some kind of adornment. It's not even worth the living I would get, so the less thought about the better. But no, I don't. And I don't care to. But I'll come have a look.
a necklace.
Could get some rings for those talons of yours.
I could be tempted, I suppose.
Okay. So, it sounds like you want to go to the jeweler, the forge and the smeltery, the library, and the bakery,
I would also like to go to the alchemists.
and the alchemists. Excellent. So where would you like to go first? You go into the jeweler first? Question mark.
Get that out of
And
the
do,
way.
I guess.
Okay. Well, it seems like most of you wanted to do that, with some exceptions. Marlowe may not be as interested, but
Yeah, no.
okay. So you are going to the jeweler. You'll have to walk back. It's actually not too far from the dock, but more. Let's see, if the dock is looking out towards the west, the jeweler is going to be in the part of town more on the northern side. So you have that one main road that was all downhill when you were walking down from the Brass Canary, which means you've got to be walking uphill on this very, we'll say, quaint cobbled path. So you go a little bit farther up, stopping short of the magistrate's home and clock tower. You can find the jeweler. A little bit farther through one of the alleyways, the very narrow roads walking through, you've got to watch your step a little bit here and there. And again, all of these homes are built, with the exception of that clock tower, fairly lower to the ground, very sturdy, mostly stone construction. You don't see as much wood here as you have elsewhere in Monair and in Glenferra, just because of the harshness of the salt water and the really, you know how the wind that comes in from the sea has that taste of salt. It's a little bit abrasive as well. You don't want a lot of wood, a lot of tall, graceful, elegant structures here. So the buildings in Felbray are built to last. It is a small fishing and mining village. So if you go through, you can see one of the signs embedded into the stone of the building itself of a gem encircled in a ring. So you can go in there. When you first walk in, it's not quite the jeweler you had expected. They have different display cases of different ornaments, different accessories, beautiful bits of metal and jewels that you assume some of which may have been mined here. But when you walk through, one of the first things that catches your eye, or that really catches your attention, it's not just a jeweler. You see in the back of the room, actually one of the fishermen that you had seen, that you recognize even just very briefly from the Brass Canary the other night, or the night previous, sitting in a chair, face scrunched up in pain, as a small gnome woman is taking what looks to be a needle and creating patterns with ink into the skin of his arm. He looks up as you walk in, face screwed up in pain, seeing unfamiliar faces, and suddenly trying to have a little bit more of a stoic expression. The gnome looks up, kind of grunts in greeting, and gets back to work. She's a little bit distracted. She does not want to be addressing potential customers right now. However, an older human gentleman does come up from one of the back rooms, where he had, you can see through the door, it looks to be some sort of workbench. He comes up wearing kind of a short leather apron, looks at all of you. Alright, what can I do for you? You here for shiny bits, or you here for ink? If you're here for ink, Lisette there may not be able to get to you right away. He looks over at the gentleman in the bench, who's trying his best to look tough. Old Joe there might be here for a while.
I want to replace these earrings. Both sides.
How tall are you right now?
I'm slightly shrunk a little bit.
Slightly shrunk? Okay. You only had to bow your head a little bit then, slightly, to get through the door.
I kind of pull on my earlobes. And
Yeah.
And I kind of try to take one of them out. And it's just like heaped with crust.
Oh no! But you've been bathing.
Oh no.
Yeah, I haven't washed my ears at all.
You don't want.
Oh no.
No, I don't have a proper wash when I have a bath. I just.
You just soak.
Just lie in it, yeah. I kind of pull it out, and it's like, yeah, just big string of like crust.
Gross. Gross.
How long have those been in your ears?
75 years.
Whoa.
He looks at the hand, your hand, holding the wooden, the wooden ornament from your ear, as you can see from the character art behind him. Just with the crust. And you winced a bit when you dislodged it. We're gonna say dislodged if it's that nasty from your ear. It took a little bit of fur. Oh no. I ain't touching that. I'll tell you that right now. But those definitely need to be cleaned. I mean, what? How? How did they even get... And he's just at a loss for words. And looking at you with this expression of of disgust, but concern and a little bit of fear.
Never bothered me.
This is what I constantly tell people when they come. Lisa, ain't I always telling them aftercare? You've got to take care of these things or else this happens. 30, how long?
75
70.
years.
Okay. Well, like I said, I ain't touching that, but if you need a replacement, I think we can help. I don't have much as far as wooden ornaments go. Work mostly with metal
I
here.
want something a little more elaborate. Right.
Right as you were about to say elaborate, he started to speak as if he was going to say clean. Sterile?
Polished.
Polished is a word, which does not currently apply to those ears. Come on, my friend. Let's see what we've got here. Are you looking for something like the spirals again? You want like a post? You want what do you want?
Spirals are good.
Spirals are good.
Like the
okay.
knots of a tree.
Well, I guess I don't have much in wood, but I might be able to find something. So you can look now. The counter space that you walked up on is constructed in such a way where it's like an open square.
Right.
So he's standing behind it, and you can look. He's looking through the different display cases, looking at some shelves with different leather pouches and things to try to find something that catches your eye. So
Something metallic with like a green gemstone.
okay.
Even tiny green gemstones to go with my eyes.
You want gold, silver, iron, gold? All right. We don't. We've got brass. We've got bronze.
Yeah, something cheaper.
So for the gold, of course, we've got to bring that in from elsewhere. You're not finding gold in the cliffs here, but let's see what we've got. We've got some copper. So you can look. He's gesturing now to a section of the display case, and you see most of them are studs. Some are going to be more circular. Some have some very interesting looking little dangly bits. There is a copper one that may catch your eye that has a similar spiraling shape to the kind that you are familiar with, your wooden ones, but it's in two. So you have a smaller and a larger ring for the piercing, and there is a fine gold chain that connects them both.
Oh, I like that.
So you have that. That just comes in one. That is the set. There's not another pair to accompany that one. But then there are some others of darker metal. There is some of silver, and there's one in particular that doesn't have a lot of a metal setting to it. It's very simple, but has a bright green gemstone attached to it. You see some others. You see some with some kind of rough looking diamonds. And all the gemstones here, they're not polished and cut necessarily. Yeah. You're looking at more of the cleaned up, nicely set, raw stones. This is not a fine jeweler, but it does look to be nicely made.
If we're here for a couple of days, would you be able to fashion something?
It depends on what you need, what you want, the materials, to see if I have something available. What are you looking for?
Nice copper.
Nice copper.
Earring with an embedded green gem or crystal.
So something like those ones, and he points towards the spiraling copper you had that I described previously with the chain. I could potentially set a stone in these, depending on how you wanted it. Now, do you want one? And he holds it up now. Could you... He's gesturing for you to kind of lean a little bit lower. It's hurting my neck looking up at you. He's human, but he's still kind of short. I could potentially put it here, and he kind of points towards one of the swirls, kind of in the we'll say apex of the bend of the curve in the metal. I could potentially put something here. Could maybe string one with the chain, if you like.
Yes, that's what I want.
With the chain or with the setting?
On the chain.
On the chain. Okay. I've got a couple smaller ones that I could potentially use.
Yes.
When do you need it? He's a little bit unsettled by when you said yes, by that look in your eye. When do you need it? A few days?
Day after tomorrow, yeah.
Day after tomorrow. Well, doing a modification to a piece is going to be a little bit easier than creating something completely new. I could possibly do that. Now, I don't mean to be rude, but do you have a budget in mind? I only ask because, well, and he gestures to your ear.
Ben? Any advice?
Can I guess, roll to see like, if I would know what an appropriate price for for what Bum wants would be?
Yeah, certainly. So this would probably be...
It's interesting, that one.
We can do it maybe this is pulling on your memory and your ability to appraise things. So it's going to be intelligence based. Just go ahead and do a straight intelligence roll.
That is an 18.
An 18? Okay, that's not bad. So you are familiar, of course, with different metals and looking at the quality of gems. And as I said before, the gemstones that you see here, those small emeralds, aren't of, we'll say, the cut, clarity, and color. I can't believe I actually remembered that. Cut, clarity, and color of the...
C's.
of the pieces that you are familiar with seeing with your family. Your family has a little bit more of a refined taste.
Can I help?
You
raise the
can.
price?
Yeah. Would you like to do a supporting role?
Yes.
Okay. So, well, instead of a roll, if you remember how we're doing the assisted checks, you would simply add your modifier to their final roll.
Intelligence?
Modify, yeah.
Yep.
+3.
+3? Okay. So that brings to a total of, what is that?
21.
21. Excellent. I can math. So for these, you would say anywhere between 5 and 15 gold. Because of the quality of the metal. The actual modification of the piece. And the fact that this all does seem to be handmade. It's not as though there's a manufacturer that's mass producing these things. I would say 15 is probably a little bit high. And we can say that you're having this sort of exchange with the jeweler as well. Say it's not gold, it's copper, but does take a bit of work to get it into the right shape. Copper's a soft metal, you understand. You've got to be careful. You got to have a delicate touch. And he holds up his hands, which are actually like thick and calloused as heck. So when he says delicate touch, I would, for this, 12 gold. That'll be my offer. It's a rush order. It's a modification. That chain's pretty delicate.
12 gold. I could stretch to 10.
When do you need this?
Couple
They
of
are
days.
pretty. I can add a gold to that and make it 11.
If you have anything to trade in exchange, I can consider that.
My woodwork's worth far more than 12 gold.
Woodwork.
Mm.
Well, like I said, I don't deal much in wood. We don't have as much need for... There's not as much of a call for wooden jewelry here.
It is a bland town.
Are you trying to persuade?
Bomb can feel himself like losing the sort of
Oh. Oh.
track of the conversation and becoming like his typical kind of difficult self. So he's going to cast in desperation, when he gets very desperate, he casts Charm Person.
What? What? Hold on. You're gonna okay. All right.
It's a reaction.
You
It's
panicked.
like when he gets very anxious in conversation, social situation, he casts Charm Person just to get himself out of a pinch. So he goes, it's in a bomb, like as if he's coughing.
Cinnabom's your word.
Yep. And he casts Charm Person on this. It's a DC 16 save Wisdom.
Okay. So, for those of you who maybe have not been as familiar with Charm Person, it's an attempt to charm a humanoid. Yes, in this case. You can see within range. They must make a Wisdom saving throw. If it fails the throw, it is charmed by you, Bomb, until the spell ends or until you and your companions do anything harmful to it, which I hope it doesn't escalate to that. Charmed creature regards you as a friendly acquaintance. When the spell ends, they will know they have been charmed by you. So, Wisdom saving throw?
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. Failed. I rolled a 4. Even with the modifier, it's not going to beat, you said a 16?
Mm-hmm.
I need to make a note of this now.
Yeah, I didn't mean to call your town bland.
I mean, it's not the brightest of places. Color-wise. It's lively. But,
I only have 10
what do you
gold.
need? You only
I
have
have
10.
I only have 10. I'm not being dishonest. This is all I have on my person until I sell some more of my wood pieces, carvings.
You know what? That's fine. I'll do this for you. You seem like a nice guy. And I'm worried about those ears. They need to be cleaned. I'm worried about you. So that's okay. That's 10.
Appreciated.
But please burn those or something. I don't know. I can't take them for a trade-in. I wish I could, but I mean, if I cleaned them up, maybe.
Don't worry about it, honestly.
Okay. Is there anything else you want?
My companions may wish for something.
All right, yeah, sure. Lisette looks up from where she's tattooing the guy in the chair with the confused look on her face. Like, kind of mouths over to the jeweler. What are you doing? And he looks back at her and goes, making friends. Come on, it's fine. So, He looks expectantly at the rest of you. He puts aside your piece with the chained earrings, the chained copper spirals. Puts them to the side, kind of making a quick note to himself. You want 1 or 2 stones in this one? They're gonna have to be pretty small. 1? Okay.
1.
All right. I got you. How long does this spell go?
An hour.
Okay. And your friends? My name's Victor, by the way. Nice to meet you. I don't think I had... That was rude of me. I'm sorry for not introducing myself first. I'm dealing with all these sailor types, and you know how it can be.
Do you perchance do piercings as well?
I perhaps might. I'm not gonna sell them if I can't install them. You know? It's kind of what we do here.
There.
You can see he actually has quite a few piercings. And the sleeves of his shirt underneath the leather apron are rolled up, and you can see all the ink and the tattoos. He's got some that look like waves crashing, like climbing up on his neck there. Older guy, probably in his 60s, but still very sprightly.
How much perchance for a septum?
Depends on what you want. For the piercing itself, that's easy. Costs you more than it costs me. You're the one getting hurt.
And I pull out a small, a pretty small gear.
You want to get a gear piercing?
I want a gear in her nose.
Amazing.
A broken gear, but it's not it's pretty solid metal, but it's just a gear that it's scrap gear. But
Okay.
it it's like a ring, but
Okay.
it's broken on one half.
Okay. Well, providing your own material, that helps. May I?
By all means.
Let's see. He reaches into his apron and takes out one of those monocles, like the little, the jeweler glass, so you could take a closer look at it, twist it a little bit, zooms in. Yeah, we could do something with that. I'll be honest. I forgot which eye it's holding in. I can't wink. I'll be honest. Don't see many people with this kind of thing. It's unique. Creative. I like it. I would probably have to mount and attach a little bit more of a bar here just to have something to pierce through the nose, you know? Yeah, I could make that work. How much time do you have today?
How much time will it take?
Well, depending on what the rest of you may or may not want, I could mount this fairly quickly. Maybe give me an hour. Make sure that it sets and the metal adheres well, and could probably have it cleaned up and ready.
I can do an hour.
Okay. We'll just call that a few copper. A copper for the metal. We'll say 3. 3? Septum piercing. Writing these down.
curiosity, do we know
Pretty good?
that Bomb... out of curiosity, do we know that Bomb has cast Charm Person?
So with Charm Person...
Because obviously the person who it's been cast on doesn't know, but do we know?
There is a verbal and somatic component for Charm Person.
I guess would we have noticed?
So there's... Well, how sneaky were you trying to be, Bomb?
It's reactional. But
Okay.
only Kendis probably would have had some idea because they would have witnessed it before.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in social situations, like my 35th birthday.
I have to write this down. 35th birthday. I feel like that may have to be like a separate one shot or something at some point. The 35th birthday. Goodness gracious. This is gonna be a thing now, like frog on a log.
They might have some concept of what I do in a corner,
Mm-hmm.
or when I feel like the conversation's going south.
Yeah,
You've seen this
Kendis
before.
Would just be like, Bum's just doing his thing. Not a big deal. Not worth mentioning.
Marlowe, you will have been around spellcasters enough where you may suspect. But if you weren't specifically watching Bomb for this kind of thing, you may have missed it.
Yeah,
But you would probably have some suspicions, given the change.
I don't say anything about it.
Yeah. So 3 copper, good?
3
Yeah?
copper.
Sweet. Did you need something too? Looking at you, Fenn.
So, in terms of, do you have anything that's very particularly your style, very particularly from here? Ideally in either brass or something yellow-ish in color. Silver's not my color.
It ain't called the brass canary for nothing. We've got plenty of brass that's mined and treated. Well, you can't really mine brass in that same way, but that's developed right here in Felbray. Yeah? What are you looking for? Earrings, rings, bracelet, necklace, piercing, cuff.
Something small. I'm not entirely decided. Either an earring or a ring. One or the other. What would you recommend? What is there a piece in particular that you think really is very distinctly you?
Well, I've made all of this, so don't want to brag, but it's all pretty distinctly me. You're not gonna find this type of craftsmanship in Willow Grove, I'll tell you that much.
Of course not. Of course not.
Of course. You just do this to all the NPCs, don't you?
Well, I suppose if my two friends here are going for piercing jewelry, then of course I'm going to have to match. I guess an earring for me as well.
I didn't even have to recommend it. Are you sure? No, I can see you've got some piercings already. Okay.
Yeah, so it's something that, you know, would go with my collection. I'm obviously obviously something would have to come out for a new one to go in, but what do you think would go with my current set?
You strike me as a very cheerful person.
That's been said.
I like it. It's refreshing. I've got something you might like. I'm pretty proud of this one. Actually, I just finished it up last week. Hold on. And he goes and leans down. Actually, no, he goes and walks back to his workbench in the other room. Comes out with something that he's kind of polishing up a little bit more in his hand. I've been trying something new. I've made a few of these. But this one I just recently finished up. And it is a stud earring, brass that looks like, if you squint a little bit, the shape of a small bird.
Oh.
You get it? It's a canary. See it? See it?
I love it.
And there is a small black stone set into it for the eye. And there's actually, when you look a little bit closer, the shape is fairly simplistic, but he actually has some nice detail in there with the wings. It looks like a little canary in flight. I've been practicing a little bit, trying something new, you know. But
always good.
I've got a few of these. What do you think? Polishes it up a little bit, hands it to you to look at.
I like it. How much?
I'll tell you what, how much time is left on this? We probably are still within the charm person.
Yeah. It's an hour, so.
I would say 5 a piece for the little birds. Gold.
I think just the one for now, but 5 sounds reasonable.
Okay. So, little canary for you. I can get to work on that septum piercing. We'll modify the copper spirals for you, my tall friend. And for you, madam. Anything else? Kendis? He doesn't know your name, but I'm asking. Kendis.
Oh, I would not even know what to get. I'm here for moral support and little else. Fine craftsmanship. Almost like a little art gallery in itself. But nothing for me.
You flatter me. All right, well, I can get to work on these. Here's your canary. Hands it over to you. Okay. In exchange for the 5 gold. I need to keep track. I put jeweler on the list, but silly me, I did not go ahead and prepare like a price range list for the things that you may find in the jeweler. So I need to make sure
It's all good.
that I am recording these appropriately. And then...
You notice that Bomb sulks and he walks out of the store.
You're sulking?
Yeah, he sulks. He kind of hunches over. He's like visibly upset. And
I'm gonna wave at the jeweler and scurry after
Was it-
Bomb.
Is he okay? Well, nice meeting you. I'll have it done in 2 days. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, as you're all leaving the store, Marlowe, he said he would have yours ready in an hour. Which is also around the time when Charm Person wears off. As you all exit the store, I'm assuming,
I think so.
you hear the voice of the gnome. Victor, what was that? And they start going into a conversation as you are departing.
Cheerio. Where to next? My vote is the bookshop, but I'm aware there needs to be a consensus amongst the group, so... Or the bakery.
Anywhere we don't need to talk.
You are right, Bomb. Maybe we should go to the bakery. You seem a little down. I'm sure a lovely treat will cheer you up.
Yeah. Pastries are a good shout.
Oh, for what it's worth, I think you did very well navigating that interaction, Timbersmith. So. There.
And you got a very nice piece out of it. Dangle you with a stone. I absolutely approve of the choice.
It should look nice.
And green is absolutely your color.
Mm.
Oh, undoubtedly. Really brings out your eyes.
See, you just know how to talk to people. You know how to make them feel good. I, however, do not.
It's all about practice. Think of these weeks of sailing we're going to have. I'm sure you'll be able to practice your charming on many of these sailors. Although, to be honest, in my experience, sailors aren't really the most chatty lot. Or at least, it's a different kind of banter that they don't really expect us land dwellers to really understand. So, don't feel too worried about making mistakes on that front.
I love talking. You can talk to me the whole time.
There you go.
Actually, very kind. I shall try and practice with you then, Fenn.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll have a fabulous time. You can tell me lots of stories. You all seem to have had quite a time up north. I'd like to, hear from your perspective about everything.
Okay. Let's get to know each other.
Agreed.
Now, some
Yeah,
pastries would...
certainly.
I'm feeling a bit empty, to be honest. That would explain some of my mood.
Nerves about this upcoming trip, perhaps?
Yeah, of course, yes. I keep picturing falling off the boat.
Oh, no.
And then,
You won't let that happen. You'll be surrounded by some of the strongest swimmers this side of the Isles. No one will let you be lost to the depths.
I heard I float like wood anyway.
Well, there you go then.
Never tested it.
Let's not, shall we? I'd be quite alright if we never found it.
I've always wanted to try shoe pastry, as I've never worn any.
Really?
Well,
Really? So,
Do they smell as bad as I imagine?
I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Okay.
so the bakery, you actually passed it on your way down. It is right next to the Brass Canary, as this bakery also supplies some of the goods to the inn. And I think maybe at least one of you may have tried some of the bread that would have been from this bakery for breakfast earlier this morning. So if you go to the bakery, it's called the Upper Crust. You see the little sign outside. And you'll notice all of the signs set into the stone of the buildings will have some sort of symbol, some sort of iconography to show what it is. For this one, it looks like a bushel of wheat. And it's very similar in function to what you've seen in like the capital of Cashel or in Glenfarra, where instead of a placard that's kind of set and inlaid into the stone, you have the unique carvings on the wooden pillars in front of the buildings that sort of give you an idea of what the building's function is. So slight differences in the architecture and the artistry here that Bomb you would appreciate. So walking into the Upper Crust, before you even walk through the door, you smell the fresh bread, that wonderful warming smell. And then walking through, very simple, bakery. There are a couple of tables with some chairs in there. And instead of a uniform counter, there's sort of a desk and then shelves behind. And you actually see, there aren't doors, but there's a more open passageway where you can see the bakery, the actual kitchen. And up front, you also see a brick oven where a small, I almost said a small human, looks to be like teenage years. A younger human is putting some loaves in to bake with one of the big wooden paddles, just pushing some of these seeded round loaves of bread that have risen and proofed and now getting ready for the fire, shutting the doors behind him. Looks to those of you who have walked in. Good morning. Can I help you? Welcome to the Upper Crust.
Hello.
Sweet treats, something delightful.
He seems a little bit taken aback at first by your enthusiasm.
I'm so excited about this.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we've got plenty.
What would you recommend?
Oh gosh, all of them. They're all pretty good. I baked these ones myself. Just last night. If you want to try them, they're honey cakes. I've got some honey cakes here, and you see these smaller, palm-sized pastries. Looks kind of like a sponge cake, just soaked in honey, and there are some dried, like flower petals on top, decorating them. These kind of round little cakes. They look to almost be formed into like the very rough shape of like flowers, a little bit. They're not normally shaped like that, but I don't know. Grandma said I could try something different. We've got some of these clusters over here. If you like nuts, they're made with like more honey and cinnamon and stuff. I can't remember what kind of nuts they are. They look to be like walnut kind of clusters. I've got cake. Do you like cakes? What does any of this sound good? We've got a lot. We've got cakes, we've got rolls, we've got buns, we've got cookies. Do you like cookies?
Quite overwhelmed.
Got some muffins, bread.
I do love the delicate flowers on the top of those first ones.
Yeah? The petals are from our garden. It's really hard to grow things here. But I think we got it.
Special.
I think they're pretty good. Did you want some of the honey cakes then?
Absolutely, I'll take one. Does everyone else, are you wanting the same thing, or what would you guys like?
Honey cakes would be marvelous.
Yes, one each.
Okay, so that's 5 honey cakes. All right. Could we say 5 copper?
I'll pay for them.
Oh, thank you, Fenn.
Do you want to eat them here, or are you leaving? We got tables. You can sit here. It's warmer in here than it is out there. Do you want anything to drink? I can make some tea. He seems actually very excited to have enthusiastic people here. I can make some tea.
Mint.
I would not say no to some tea.
Yeah? Okay.
Mint tea would be nice.
I think we have some. All right. Well, I'll get the cakes and get you some tea. Do you all want tea?
I'll take some.
All right. Cool. He puts the little cakes on these little plates and he hands them to you, one at a time. These little, which seem a little bit small for your hands, Bomb, but these little forks to eat them with. He's trying to place them very neatly and nicely. showing a little bit of pride, kind of like hiding a bit of a smile. Because he just baked them last night. So as far as you can tell, there was still a full batch. You guys might be the first people to eat his honey cakes that he had just made the night prior. So he hands them to each of you. Have a seat. I'll be right back with your tea. Okay. Leaves the room. You sit down. It is quite cozy. The tables and chairs, they're nothing special. It looks like there are some hand knit kind of, like doilies. Very much homemade arts and crafts kind of feel. That are just in the center of each table. So you can pull up some chairs, or just 4 chairs, so you'll pull over a 5th one, sit down with the cakes. And as you bite into it, it is a very dense sponge cake. And there's actually a little bit of cream in the center of that flour. Just very light cream. Drenched in honey. The honey has just soaked fully into the pores of this cake. You get a little bit of cinnamon in there as well. And then the little flowers, the little flowers on top aren't just dried, but they look almost to be like lightly crystallized with sugar.
Sounds lovely.
And strangely enough, there's also a hint of rosemary in there, which is kind of surprising, but nice.
While we're sat down, can I clean your ear? It's a bit bad.
Clean your ear.
I don't seem to have the dexterity to be able to clean.
Oh, it's okay. I'm not gonna touch it. I'm just gonna, and I'll wave my hand and cast prestidigitation. just. I think maybe a few passes over.
Like a year's worth.
Yeah.
I'm imagining you pointing your finger as if there was like a spout of water coming from it, like using the eraser in like a paint or a photo editing app, just with the ear. Now I'm wondering, with prestidigitation, I wonder if the stuff would just kind of dissolve.
Yeah.
Just kind of break it down.
Yeah, definitely.
Like a grease buster kind of cleaning solution. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Like you know that stuff that you get where if you've got a blocked ear, like full of like hard earwax, there's that stuff that you can put in your ear and it like
Yeah.
pulls it off.
Oh yeah, this is definitely
That is
how
the
we
effect
should be
of this
having
prestidigitation.
over eating our honey cakes.
Yeah, bomb does feel like visibly lighter when you've finished.
There we go. Now it'll look extra good with your new piece in
I
later
really
on.
appreciate it. You do look after me. I do miss home.
Well, there's lots of exciting things about traveling as well. I'm sure you'll get to see most of the good things while we're out here.
It's strange, we rarely talk about what's ahead of us.
I suppose we're not really entirely sure what's ahead. But that's part of the fun of it.
What's ahead of you, for instance? What brings you with us?
Honestly, it was quite nice to have someone be nice to me and not betray me and try to kill me.
Always a good start.
And you know, I mean, I'm traveling anyway. I figured traveling with some friendly faces would be it's much better than traveling alone.
Have you been to Athenium before?
Never. I'm excited to see a new place, though.
Well, don't be too excited. Don't keep your expectations all that high.
Well, I'm sure it'll be good. What can you tell us about it?
This is not a conversation for tea and cake on an afternoon. Get back to me later on the ship. On the ship. Wait for the ship.
We could bring some wine. It could be a conversation for wine.
That's not a bad idea, actually. You know what? That is actually a good idea. Let's get really drunk on the ship and talk about terrible things.
Maybe Bomb should not get drunk on the ship while it's on water and rocking.
Everyone except Bomb. No offense.
No, sensible.
We could perhaps, before the ship departs, our final night here, have a bottle of wine in the inn where we can all drink together and there's no seasickness involved.
Yes, let's do that. That's a great idea.
How about you, Marlowe? Are you in?
Wine at sea count me in.
At this point, Tobias. Oh, you didn't know his name yet. The boy comes back out with a little tray, with a teapot, a very simple, kind of like earthenware teapot with little cups. Brings them all and sets them in front of you. Here's some tea. Anything else you need? How are the cakes? Do you like them? Are they okay?
They're fantastic.
They're not underbaked, are they?
Mm.
I love them.
You like them? Really?
Yes. Did
Oh
you
my
make
God.
those yourself?
I did. I mean, it's my grandma's recipe, but I wanted to tweak it a little bit. I baked them last night. You guys are the first to eat them, so I'm glad you like them. Is it missing anything? Does it need something? I wasn't sure about the rosemary. It smelled good, so I just kind of.
I think it really adds an extra layer of complexity to the flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Okay.
Very innovative.
I'll keep it then. Granny said it was weird, but
Oh.
if you like it, I'll keep it. Yeah.
Weird is good sometimes.
Thank you. I think so. You guys are kind of weird, but in a good way. In a good way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank
Was.
Unsure if complimented.
I mean, you're clearly not. No. That's not what I meant to say at all. I'm sorry. He kind of blushes. It gets a little awkward. You're obviously not fishing folk. You know, you're not. Did you come here with one of the ships? Like I don't. You're not the usual fishing town kind of people.
No, you're travelers passing through.
Okay. Well, I'm happy you like the cakes. If there's anything else you need, let me know. Okay. Enjoy the tea.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And he very quickly scuttles back to the bakery.
You're weird. Wait, I mean.
In a good way.
I like him.
Fenn, you like everyone.
That's true. Well, I don't like it. I didn't like those gnolls that tried to eat us.
If they didn't
Not
try to
so
eat
they
us,
don't.
you would have made light conversation.
That's true. Yes. Well, they do look quite fluffy. If they'd been nice, then maybe we could have been friends. But
Fluffy.
Well, they had hair. Yeah, maybe fluffy's not the right. Maybe hairy.
They were quite hairy.
And it was raining. They definitely smell like wet dog.
Mm.
Smelled better than Dom's ear a few moments ago.
Yeah, it's all right. Thank you for clearing anyway. I do feel better
Good.
after eating this minuscule cake as well.
Minuscule.
There are more. With the tiny fork, I'm just picturing this. They're no Cinnabombs,
No,
but they're not
They're
bad.
not- they're not
They're
well
nice.
known round.
The tea's very nice as well.
What kind of tea is it?
It is a mint tea.
I feel relaxed for once after all we've been through. It's been a bit of a turbulent journey since we met you, Fenn, really. No offense.
None taken. These things seem to happen around me.
It was some introduction.
Well, you'll never forget it.
This is true.
There is something very calming about the bakery.
Good energy.
It reminds you a little bit of having those Cinnabombs in the mornings every now and then. It was a weekly treat that when you were young, you would help with your mother. You and your cousin Lamp would enjoy making them. You'd kind of compete to see who could make the nicest one. Lamp, you remember, you have these clear memories of Lamp's buns looking just kind of like a little bit lopsided, not quite evenly rolled out and then spiraled together. And you always took pride in rolling yours just so.
Yeah, he's definitely a perfectionist. He's looking at the cakes and he's actually quite, admiring them, really.
They're a little bit rough. The kid reminds you a little bit of Lamp.
Are any of you missing your homestead? Like I am.
I do miss Glenfair and its people, and all the people who come to me for help, and the marketplace, and buying my tea, and all the rest of it. If I'm quite honest with you, but knowing that we will one day be back there calms the aches somewhat. But you're not alone in what you're feeling, Timbersmith.
Do you have a homestead, Fenn? Somewhere you call?
I'm more of the I'm more of the traveling type, really. The open road, camping, and seeing new sights. It's fantastic. And I'm just gonna keep traveling, and it's gonna be really great. Nothing bad should happen.
The smile seems slightly forced.
Marlowe, how do you feel?
I
bet-
feel most at home on the seas, so I feel more at home than I have been in a while.
Are you relishing the prospect of the journey then?
Always.
I need to somehow adopt some of your feeling and thinking and your mindset. I feel the longer I travel with you, I will take little crumbs of that energy.
It takes practice. I mean, when I first started traveling, I was terrible at absolutely everything, but now I'm a really cool and fantastic adventurer, so just takes time.
It almost... I'm sorry. It almost sounds like the rough draft of a dating profile. Really cool, awesome adventurer. Likes traveling.
Yeah.
Doesn't need a homestead. Just the open road and my sword.
Yep.
And a good book that's probably cursed.
Just nothing but my cursed bag.
Oh, I forgot.
Who's carrying the bag of holding, by the way? Who is it? I don't think it's Bomb.
Were you
I
Kendis?
No, it's
I think
definitely
it was
me.
Kendis.
Yeah.
I think it is me.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I did take it. Yeah,
Nothing to do with it.
let's go there. Keeping it out of bombs sight as much as possible.
Sticks head into bag.
At this point, the kid comes out again, looking over, not interacting yet, leaving you to your space, looking over, seeing some empty or near empty plates, and then just goes to readjust and turn the loaves that are in the brick oven. Shuts the door. Goes back out. In a few minutes, he'll come back out and see if... Are you all done? Would you like any more?
I'm pretty done, I think. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Did you want some for the road? You said you were just passing through. Can
We could take
you want
some for
some
the ship.
like snacks?
Take some for the sailors, perhaps. Endear them to us for the time ahead.
That is a good idea.
There you go, Timbersmith. Nothing saves making friends like offering baked goods.
Need to learn these things
Food usually helps.
about bribing. It's a good show.
That's not what we're saying.
Probably is a little waiting, a little bit of a different term than what we're going for, but
Okay,
Diplomatic favors.
right.
So they're a copper apiece. How many would you like to buy?
let's take.
How big is the crew? How many people are on the ship? Just working out a proportion.
I think definitely the captain.
Yeah. Well, of course we.
At least the captain. So they're usually between 20 and 25.
25 is a lot of cakes.
You don't know exactly how many, but Marlowe,
Well,
you would
like-
know the size of that kind of vessel.
Her, like, primary traveling crew.
We'll say you
Her,
could
like-
get like a dozen and be fine.
Yeah,
If
we'll
you
get
wanted
them.
that.
We can split them in half.
Yeah.
Everyone's sharing. So he has enough. He baked quite a lot of them. They're just little, palm-sized cakes. So for a dozen, that'll be 12 copper.
Yeah, Fenn will
Okay,
hand over
I'll
the
throw in
20
a
of
Yep.
copper for that.
Okay. Okay, so you bought some for the crew. He packages them up nicely in a little basket, actually. For a silver, he throws in the basket so you can just take it with you. Or he offers. Normally I use these for deliveries, but if you're taking it with you, you can just... That's fine. And I can't give it away for free. I'll have to make a new one.
That's
But,
understandable.
okay. Alright, so you have a dozen honey cakes in a nice little covered basket. It's adorable. And I'm sure the crew will love them.
Good work, everybody.
Thanks for coming by. Hope to see you again. Safe travels.
You.
Just kind of waves.
Bye.
Cheerio.
Yeah. Where to next? You've done the bakery. You've done the jeweler. At this point, it's probably about time. If you wanted to go today, Marlowe, you can go back for the piercing. Or if you wanted to stop by and do it the next day, you can. It's up to you. We'll say that you would have been able to negotiate that before you all left.
Probably in the next day, I think.
Okay.
You wanted to go to the forge, didn't you, or something? Smelt.
Yeah.
So at this point, we'll say the next things that we do and roleplay through will take the time of the next couple of days as well over the course, unless there are specific things in the evenings that you want to do.
Just the last evening, wasn't it? We wanted to
Yeah.
get together and
Yeah. So you're going to the forge. Bomb, you have already met the blacksmith here.
Yep.
Talon.
Talon, yep.
Talon the blacksmith. So Talon's forge is closer to the docks. Again. Cliffside. Versus hillside. We'll say the cliff is where the old mining shafts and entrance to the mines are. So the forge has a significant open air section. You see a charcoal, a fairly sizable charcoal forge. And Talon is currently there heating up some metal. Looks to be some longer metal bars of some sort. Could be fastenings for barrels, could be a number of different things. Busy hammering away. She doesn't really look up when you first approach. Tink, tink, tink. Seems pretty engrossed in her work. She's not paying any attention to you. Bomb, you remember, she's not one for small talk. She kind of glances over. Goes right back to hammering away. Pulls out the long bar of metal, red hot. Shapes a little bit, puts it back in the forge. Once it's back in the forge, she can turn to you. Are you, gonna stand there and stare all day, or can you speak?
What do you do apart from weapons?
Depends on what you need. Hey! Drinking buddy. She sees you, Bomb. How are you, fella?
I've been better, but I'm feeling cheerful now. I like seeing you work. That's interesting.
It's a living. It's a passion. Keeps a roof over my head. Well, not here, obviously, but yeah. Aside from weapons, need a pickaxe, need a shovel, need some bindings. What do you need? What do you need doing? Tell me what it is, and I'll let you know if I can make it.
So out of character, what I had offered Nadia was that like weather sort of trinket thing. Like a storm,
like a barometer kind of thing.
kinda, yeah.
So something that helps to measure air pressure.
Yeah,
If I'm
so that I can,
remembering
like,
that right, that should be a barometer. Yes, barometer, scientific instrument used to measure atmospheric pressure, also called barometric pressure. So the way a barometer works, for those of you who may not know, it uses liquid mercury. So it uses a type of metal to predict the weather by measuring the shifting changes in atmospheric pressure through warm and cold weather systems. So that's the kind of thing you're looking for? To construct?
Just about.
So that one's going to be a bit tough. As you're describing what it is that you want, Talon thinks. I think I know what you're talking about. I don't know if I have the right kind of metal for that.
What kind of metal do you need?
There's a special kind of ore. I know some metalsmiths elsewhere are pretty good at making it. I'm trying to remember what it's called. Mages, arcanists really like the stuff. What is it? It has something to do with the way it conducts magic, but I think it can do something with the weather too. I heard some sailors talking about it a couple months back. Sort of ore? Aryan ore? Bomb. This sounds familiar to you.
Can I do a
Kendis as well.
history?
Mm-hmm.
Or nature even?
Yep, nature. Nature or history.
22.
Yep. Kendis, this would be familiar to you as well.
I'll also do a check real quick.
22 is very good.
Let's see if I can add to that.
The carving knife bomb that you received
Yeah.
is made from this type of metal. It's very fine and very sharp.
Can I just ask you something? Do I think the spider's made out of it?
Kendis, what did you roll?
Sorry, I'm just doing the maths. 16, so not too high, but
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to roll quite as high because of your history at the Athenaeum. Aryun ore is mined predominantly in Yokul. And it is used as a natural conductor of that magic energy. Marlowe, you would have come into contact with this kind of stuff before, but perhaps maybe didn't know the context or why it was that way. So Aryun ore can also be used in different forms in both a solid and a liquid state for various applications. It's a very versatile substance. So, Kendis, you would know that from your time at the Athenaeum.
okay. Yeah, there's no reason I wouldn't share that with the group if needed, so yeah.
It might be hard for me to get a hold of that kind of stuff, to be honest. I could maybe make the setting for you, if that's what you want.
That would work for me.
But I'll be honest, I've never worked with that ore. Never smelted it, never worked the metal. That's might be a little bit beyond me and my forage here. Hate to say it, but
I think expensive, Marlowe, too. Very expensive.
I know that some of the smiths in the capital sometimes get it. And I think farther south, Iyastera, the bigger trade routes, sometimes ships will bring it down from Yokul. But I haven't. It's a bit out of my price range, unfortunately.
Completely understandable.
But I think that's what you need. I think that would work. But I can try to make the casing for you. So
Bomb takes out the knife. He's like, how much metal would you need?
is this?
Hmm.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, that's an Aryan blade, all right. So the way, for those of you who hadn't seen Bomb's new carving knife before, it looks like Damascus.
Mm-hmm.
But you can tell that it's not just because of the folding of the metal into the different layers, but there is a sort of iridescent oil-like sheen to it. You know how oil has those multiple, like the different colors, like the wing of a dragonfly.
Mm-hmm.
It has that sort of hue, that sheen to the metal itself, in addition to the folded in patterns of the blade. It's very light and very strong. This is a good blade. You're not asking me. I mean, I could. I've never worked with this ore before, but I could smelt it down and try to get it into that liquid form. It's not going to be as pure as if it was just the raw ore, but I mean, I could try. Are you sure? This is a good blade, though.
It doesn't mean anything to me. I think Marlowe would benefit from it.
I wouldn't need all of it. I don't think it would take much.
You have spare for the odd mistake, then?
Just melting it down? Really?
I say we go for it. Yes. Marlowe, should we try it?
It's your blade, so it's your decision.
No, not at all. It's fine. It has no sentimental value. It was just a bonus from the last trade with Captain. Our missing Captain.
Well, I'll tell you what. You're giving me a chance to work with a metal that I've never worked with before. So I'm not going to charge you for that. I'll need some time. When do you need this? When are you leaving?
3 days. Is it 3 days?
Yeah.
Yeah.
72 hours.
3 days time. Yeah.
That is tight. I could maybe do it. Okay, I need you to tell me exactly what you want this to look like. And I'll see what I can do. It can't be anything fancy. Do you have the time? Maybe we could do some sketches or something.
I actually pull out like my journal because I've probably done like a bit
Probably.
of, like, planning for it and already.
Most certainly.
If I'm gonna do this, first of all, there is gonna be a cost associated with it.
Surely.
I would have to delay. What is this for? What do you need this for? Where are you going that you would need something like this? And where did you get this? She's just kind of looking in like awe at the metal.
It's a gift.
Okay. I will ask no more questions.
To incur the costs, I think, or to offset the costs rather, you can keep the spare metal you do not use.
There's going to be quite a bit.
Keep the spare, and you can practice working on this rare mineral.
Are you sure?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm not going to turn that down. I've been wanting to get my hands on a chunk of this ore for a while. Okay. All right. Well, let's do it. Let's see your drawings. And probably for the rest of that day, you would need to sit down and work with Talon to see if you can create this barometer, this storm sensor kind of thing that you want to make. Would anyone else be sticking around, or would this be a time for you to go to other places?
No, I want to go back to the tavern.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind going somewhere else either. Maybe the bookshop. But
Okay.
whatever.
So on your list, I think we've hit everything except the bookshop. We've done the bakery, done the jeweler, done the forge. You wanted to hit up the alchemist as well. So
I can do that when I, because I have to go back to the
you do.
jewelers anyway. Yeah.
Yep. So what did you want to do at the alchemist? If we don't have to fully roleplay that one,
Yeah.
we can kind of work through it. What were you looking for?
Things that I could work with. Maybe like tinctures.
Okay.
Just curious things to tinker with.
Okay. So there are different oils, different...
Oh, I also wanted them to take a look at those candles that I picked up from that shop that Fenn and I stopped in at. The candles that had some element of magic that she had no idea.
Okay. So for this alchemist shop, think of it as like a chemist. Where you'll have some different candles, you'll have oils, you'll have different substances, different soaps and medicines as well, herbs, stuff of that nature. When you walk in, an Aarakocra, actually, the seagull, or a different seagull Aarakocra.
Okay.
Not the same one from the inn.
That's Sneaker Little Cocker.
Yeah. Oh, you'll probably meet that one, I'm sure.
Yay!
Actually, that one is actually a member of the crew that you'll be sailing with. So.
Yes.
Oh.
You'll meet them. You'll meet them later.
Yay!
Different, smaller seagull Aarakocra. So, looking at the candles. Well, it looks to be just normal wax to me, but I guess you'll just have to light one and find out.
Guess so.
Not in my shop, though.
Surely.
But you're able to get, we'll say, an assortment of different oils, medicines, tinctures. We'll say assorted stuff. Nothing arcane. There's nothing of at least an obvious, apparent magical nature. And you're not pinging anything with your Alchemore. But you are able to get some interesting crystals and stuff as well. They look kind of cool. Something that there's sort of like a fossilized, different oceanic rocks. When you break open, you can see fossilized plants and stuff. There are some things there as well.
Neat.
So we'll say for a couple silver.
Okay.
You can get an assortment of things. We'll call it. Do you have an alchemy kit yet?
I don't think so.
So you could buy one.
Yes.
An Alchemist Supply Kit. Now, I would want you to be able to work with it over time. I'm not going to say that you automatically have proficiency with it. But an actual full-up Alchemist's Kit, per the player's handbook, is 50 gold pieces.
50?
It's 50. Now, that is for the full artisan functional kit, not just supplies. This is going to be something that has vials in it, that has the means for actually combining and creating. If you're looking for something less than that, I would say 20, and you'd be able to have like the light version of that.
Okay.
You're not necessarily going to have the best stuff. You're going to have more like pouches versus vials of things.
I can work with
It's
that.
not going to come with a mortar and pestle, but you do have some little vials for storing and mixing and collecting things, but the supplies themselves come in little pouches.
Okay.
So that would
And
be
that's
20 gold.
20.
Unless you've got something interesting to trade or to persuade them to drop down the price. You can haggle. None of you have really haggled much yet.
Yeah, no, I want to do that.
And you very much know that in this kind of environment, you haggle. $20 gold.
If I can make you something of interest, a tool of sorts that might prove useful to you, name your tool. Perhaps we could bump that price down.
What do you have to offer?
What would be useful for you?
Roll persuasion. Persuasion check for me.
What is my persuasion? Okay. $19.
At least sub 20. It's rare that one of your rolls is less than 20. It's okay, we're warming up. If you could make me a new burner, something, and they show you the old one that they had, a smaller kind of metal dish with wood chips and ashes and bits of charcoal in it that they burned to heat up different substances, different tinctures in the glass vials. And it's old, it's rusted. You can see that there are some holes in the side, very, very thin metal. If you can make or bring me a new burner and something to keep the vials stable, that would be helpful.
You have yourself a deal.
All right. Bring me the burner. I'll give you your kit.
What time of day would I have been there at?
So at this point, we're going to have this flexible. You could have gone there first thing the next morning.
Yes, I would have done that.
Yeah. Okay. So roll a tinkering check for me. Or how would you?
got it.
Yeah. How would you have gathered your materials as you're getting ready to roll the check? And what would you be wanting to do with them?
So I want it to be a sort of like...
Or would you like to think about it a little bit while we do the bookshop?
Yes, that's
Okay.
the one.
We'll do that. Okay.
For what it's worth.
Yeah.
For, I got a dirty 20 on that tinkering check.
Yeah, so tell me how you want to do this. And we will get back to that. Okay. While those different things were happening, Kendis, the library, the community library that Fenn, you are familiar with as well. So the library is a circular building, strange in construction. A single level, smaller circular building, almost like a stone hut in a way. And when you walk in, this is opposite of the magistrate's home and bell tower, set just maybe a block in, or a block out from the center road. When you walk in, built into the circular walls of this open space, just bookshelves all through. And then in the center, it's not huge, but in the center there's another sort of column, a support column with bookshelves built around it, all completely circular. There aren't back rooms. There aren't other corridors or anything. There are some chairs. There is a desk sitting in front of the center column, and it's fairly big. It's not a huge space, but you have to kind of be careful walking through the ring, we'll say, between the walls and then that center column, and then the little chairs and things here and there. There's a chair in the center when you're walking in with an unfamiliar face, Fenn. This is not the librarian that you met before, whose name you recall as Kaitlin. This is not Kaitlin, but an older woman. Mm-hmm. Gnome. With hair kept back in a handkerchief. Grayed curls kind of poking through. Very, very thick spectacles just kind of on the bridge of her nose, sitting there with a book open in her lap. When you walked in, first it seemed like she was reading it, but as you walk closer, see, she's kind of fallen asleep a bit.
Well, I don't want to wake up, so I'll just get browsing, I guess.
Okay, what are you looking for? Anything in particular?
I want some novels or kind of either novels or autobiographical or biographical accounts of sailors and the sea, and anything that I can kind of hopefully just kind of get me in the mind frame of going on a boat, and maybe I'll be able to strike up conversations with sailors who've read similar books or know similar stories. So yeah.
Okay, roll an investigation for me.
Cool. Investigation. This thing is slow. Sorry. And where's all my stuff? Give me a sec. That is 13.
Okay. So, with 13, I would say you're able to find 2 different books.
Mm-hmm.
The first
Yep.
is a little bit more of an autobiographical nature.
Yeah.
And it seems to be a collection throughout history. It's called Letters Home. And it
What's
is
it called, sorry?
Letters Home. Like you're
Oh,
writing letters home.
Yeah.
So it's a collection of different first-hand accounts where people who have embarked on their travels out to sea, writing back home to tell of things they saw, from the mundane to the wondrous, that had been collected and archived over time.
Okay.
So you have some first-hand accounts. Flipping through, you're seeing something as simple as the fishmonger's wife chased them out of the market that day, all the way to, I can't believe we survived that storm, and various things in between.
Yeah. Cool. That's my second book.
You also have some, we'll say, sailors' remedies.
Yeah.
For different things,
Oh, that's good. That was
like seasickness.
Yeah.
And how to cure a hangover.
Yay! This was another thing I was going to look for, so that
Was it?
yeah.
Perfect. There's some silly stories in there about how they would test the grit and loyalty of new shipmates as well, usually involving rappelling down the side of a ship to scrape off barnacles and doing various stupid, dangerous things.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome.
And then there's another book. You found two. There's another book, more fictional, called Wave Song.
Ooh.
You're not sure how much of it's true, but it looks like it is a story of strange happenings at sea. Shapes in the water, hearing music in between the crashing of the waves and the creaking of the ship. Different superstitions of those who have spent a lifetime at sea. Those are the two books you have found.
Cool. Good finds.
And
No, go on. I had nothing to say.
so Fenn, whether you came there with them or if you described this or explained it before Kendis left, it is a library. Books aren't necessarily for sale, but you can exchange. You can exchange books or you can make donations to a library, unless it is part of like a special collection, which these two books were not.
That's fair. I don't know, I could probably go do a fair bit of reading in the next couple of days. We're definitely...
You could.
Take down some of those recipe and hangover cures.
Absolutely.
Just take out a little scroll of parchment and some ink and kind of make some notes while I'm there.
And there is absolutely space there in the library where you can do that study and learn and just read. Have some time to yourself. Maybe get some more treats from the bakery, some tea from somewhere. And you are very happy to see that bakery also had, both the bakery and the Alchemist, had the very traditional seasonal Monaran tea bundles that are popular this time of year.
Excellent.
So you'd be able to bring some of those, have a nice cup of tea. And probably while you're there, if you're spending time there over the next couple of days, Min. She goes by Granny Min.
Granny Min.
She is the unofficial expert on the town's superstitions and folklore.
She got any good stories for me if she wakes up?
Absolutely. And if you're going to be there more often, she'll talk your ear off. She also does enjoy tea and biscuits. So if you brought some for her, she'll likely have some interesting stories to tell.
I'm pretty sure that's a given.
Mm.
Yeah, that would definitely be at least a little bit of how Kendis spends the next couple of days. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Roll a persuasion check for me. Or a charisma check. Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, for sure, hey. That is 19.
Okay.
We're best friends, yay!
On nights where there is no moon, there are sometimes stories of lights that seem to be floating above the water. The superstition is that those are the souls of sailors who had been lost at sea.
Mm-hmm.
But no one can really explain where these lights come from yet. They're not necessarily bad, but you want to be careful if you see them, she says.
Okay.
She said, that's how I lost my dear son, Kaitlin.
I am terribly sorry to hear that. When was this, may I ask?
Oh, not so long ago. Maybe last month.
Oh.
This library was his, you know. It runs in the family, but... Oh, my poor boy. I talk as though he were a child. He was older than that, but not as old as me, of course.
They never really stopped being your children, is my understanding, so...
Oh, you understand. Of course. Well, this is lovely tea, dearie. Thank you for listening to an old woman's ramblings.
Oh, thank you so much for your words. They will guide me nicely across the ocean. Thank you for your warnings and your advice and your company.
You be careful.
This is exactly what I needed before being closed in with a bunch of rowdy sailors in the weeks ahead.
Oh, that's why I never took to sea myself. Too messy, too busy. I like this. This is a good kind of comfort. Are you sure you want to go? You could stay here. I've enjoyed talking to you.
Well, if it weren't the ocean, it would be my home in Glenferrer. This is not the place for me, pleasant as it is, but...
I like the sound of Glenferrer. I think I'd like to visit someday before my old bones won't travel anymore.
You would always have a place to stay. I look forward to that day.
Oh, you're so wonderful. Please come back. Be careful, okay? You promise? Promise, Granny?
I promise you.
Okay.
I will return.
All right. Kind of ruffles your feathers a little bit. With an ink-stained hand. All right. Well, unless there's anything else you needed to do, you will have retrieved your jewelry. You got the septum piercing. Did you go back to retrieve that, or did Marlowe pick it up for you, Bomb? I need to know.
Oh,
I think I would have gone back for it.
You would have?
Yeah.
Okay. You had to provide the payment anyway.
Yeah.
Victor gives you a cold look when you walk through the door. Bomb. Look, I don't fully know what you did to me. His intelligence isn't that high. I don't fully know what you did. What I do know I had a splitting headache when it was done, and I got an earful from the missus. Whatever happened, I was not in my right mind. But here. And he hands you the jewelry. And it looks very, very nice. It looks like he even resized it a little bit for something that should fit your ear a little bit better. And Marlowe, you have your piercing.
Yeah.
Sharp bit of pain. It's like you wanted to scratch and rub your nose, but you know you shouldn't. Might be a little sniffly for a few days. But it does look very cool. And now you have a half gear
Yeah.
septum piercing.
Amazing.
I need this artwork. Yes, thank you. So you've made your payment. You've left. Not quite the same sort of warm reception as before when they were charmed. But you've got your stuff. And now you also need to go back to Talon.
Yep.
You've been able to... Okay, so this is a thing. We'll make it quick because I know it's getting late. Talon was able to smelt down. It only took about half of that blade, because it wasn't a huge blade, but it took about half of it. And now you have set around this framework, and I'll have you describe it since it was from your drawing, how you think it would look. But suspended within that structure is a glass tube with now this liquid form of the Aryun ore. And it's swirling, and you can see the colors kind of shifting within it. This dark silvery kind of shimmering metal that, to your understanding, should shift and change depending on the temperature and the barometric pressure. The glass itself is fairly thick to ensure that it's not, too porous with the salt air. It should be able to withstand it. And then how would you describe the structure around it?
Around the, orb?
Mm-hmm. The tube.
Yeah. It's all metal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Probably fairly simple in construction, just because I didn't want it to be, too expensive or extravagant.
Mm-hmm. So it'll look a little bit like an hourglass, actually.
Yeah. Okay.
The metallic frame of an hourglass around that tube. And if you set it and keep it kind of steady, the fluctuation of the liquid ore within would be able to let you know what the pressure of the air would be. So there you have that. And Talon was very, very grateful to have another vial of the ore. Kept some in a solid state. Was able to make some smaller billets to draw out and kind of experiment with, but have some still in a liquid form as well. She says, I think if I coat something with this, I don't quite know yet, but I'm gonna experiment. Thank you. Thank you for this. This is, I don't know when I ever could have gotten my hands on this. This is a great gift. So you have a bond now with the blacksmith here, as well as with Granny Men. Very good things. Okay. So you also needed to create that burner, right? Mm-hmm. So how did you do it?
So I wanted to function as basically like a portable like gas burner, like a little portable gas stove sort of a thing.
Okay.
That you can turn on and off.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Did you already roll your tinkering check?
I did. It was a dirty 20.
Oh, that's right. Dirty 20. Gas burner is going to be a little bit difficult because you don't know what kind of fuel will be readily available.
I imagine I was working from like a gas lantern, kind of pulling from that sort of functionality.
Okay.
But a little more intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. With the dirty 20, I'd say you would be able to kind of craft something through salvaging different materials, maybe going back, getting some of the other bits of glass and metal components between Talon, between the alchemist shop. There's a hardware kind of store in town as well. Fantasy hardware. Even fantasy homes need nails and fasteners and bindings and all of that. Glue. All these things are still needed in Fantasyland. Very mundane. And something of note, this town does not seem to have sort of the go-to mage, as some other places might. You're not entirely sure why. That's a different thing, if you were to stay here and explore more. Granny Min probably mentioned it at some point. Mm-hmm. But you've been able to craft something fairly simple with the adjustable heat, with the little dial or lever that you've had, which would kind of open and close, vary the exposure to the heat contained within. They're very happy with it, with that work. And since what you made in such a short amount of time would probably, you'd be able to charge for it, even if it's not made from the nicest of materials, you get a heavy discount on that Alchemist Kit. So basically she'll part with it for like, how much do you have? How would you have bartered down? I don't want to name a price because I don't know how much money you actually have, but it's going to be heavily discounted.
Probably like,
I was going to say 5 silver.
Yeah, that sounds good.
5 silver it is. It's not copper, it's not free, but
yeah. For the like Alchemist Kit Light.
Yes. For the 20 gold one.
Yeah.
You just got a 20 gold alchemy kit for 5 silver.
Really good.
So it's pretty good. Well done. And unless there were any other errands and things you wanted to do in preparation.
I'm gonna make, I already made, did I make some of that seasickness stuff?
You can.
Yeah.
We'll say you'd be able to, working together with Marlowe. Also, in that alchemy store, they did have potions. You guys haven't asked about health potions and things of that sort.
Cool. She'll probably pick up some of those.
There's a little bit of a nudge from me because I don't know how much of that you actually have in your inventory right now.
I don't really think I have anything. Yeah, let's buy some potions.
So, a potion of healing. Goodness gracious. Where are my notes for the cost? So, normal potions of healing are typically 50 gold pieces per the D&D handbook. However, you'd be able to buy a few for that price. How many potions of healing are you wanting?
I don't even really know how much money I have, to be honest. Did we have a starting amount?
You did.
I have not been keeping track.
Um,
I mean, I'd like at least like 2 or 3 if I
Mm-hmm.
can afford it.
I've got 60 gold. Well, I did have 60 gold. I've got 50 gold.
Okay.
Have you been keeping track of your money? I don't even remember having money.
Haven't you bought things? Or have you not? Have you conveniently not really bought things?
I thought I had a line on here. I was keeping track of probably have.
Okay, so this is something we'll do before the next session.
Oh.
For sure. Okay. So, standard potion of healing per player's handbook is 50 gold pieces. However, if you are able to barter, and since you have done a very good service for the alchemist, and over the next couple of days, I would say you'd be able to get 3 for that price.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good.
That's very good.
Fenn, do you have
Okay.
20 gold?
Yeah,
put in-
I can put in some money to
I can put
contribute.
30 in.
We should
Okay.
probably get a couple, hey? Yeah.
So you have 3 basic potions of healing.
Okay. I'll take 30 off my...
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead and mark those in your inventory.
I've got 20 left.
Yeah,
And remember
I'll-
to... Go ahead.
No, I'll just say, yeah, I'll pay that 20 for the others. Because we need 20 after.
Excellent.
30.
And don't forget as well to keep track of which items are being carried by whom and which ones would be in the bag of holding. Because when it comes to potions, if you're in battle and you need to use them, it's very important to know who's actually carrying them.
Kendis, do you have any healing spells? Do you have like cure wounds and stuff?
I believe I do. I've got cure wounds as a basic spell. So I mean that's useful, but it's good to just have potions too, hey?
Yeah. No, well, no, I was just thinking then maybe we should redistribute the potions and give more to everybody else and just one to you if you can also heal yourself with magic.
Mm.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll take
Feel
one.
free to
take one.
take them.
Okay. Excellent.
I do.
So if it's so is that 6 in total we have if that was 2 lots of 3?
No, that was 3.
No, just 3.
No, just
That was
3
just
for
3.
Yeah.
Just the 3. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I'll take one and someone else can take the other 2.
Okay.
We should maybe evenly distribute them, I guess. Would make more sense than one person carrying them all.
You can also decide that once you get on the ship as well. You don't have to decide right this minute, as long as you do make a note of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, you've gone through, you've made your preparations. You've explored a little bit more of the town, met some of the people here, even endeared yourself in some cases. Forming bonds, forming connections to the folk of Felbray before you begin your journey. But you have one last night in the Brass Canary. And you have been able to have a pretty good relationship with Boki the innkeep. And you have a table. You've been here for a few days. You have a table that you always sit at, right by the hearth. It's warm. It's comforting. You have the usual crew of sailors and off-tune bards, off-key bards in the corner. Feels very much like it did the first night. However, after even just a few days here, the longest you've stayed in one place since leaving Glenfarra, you feel a little bit more at home. You feel a sense of familiarity starting to build here. Boki walks up with a fresh plate of meats, like smoked meats and bread and the requested bottle of wine. Yep. So this, Boki says, now I know you are leaving in the morning. This one's on the house.
Oh, thank you.
Don't thank me until you've tried it. But it's good. This is going to be a port wine. It's strong. It's rich. It's fortified. This'll bring some heat to your bones before you get on that ship tomorrow with old Nadia and her crew. Glasses, cups are distributed. The wine is poured. You can smell that sweet, heavy scent even as it's pouring before you even raise it to your lips. And as you raise those glasses, together with this crew that you've been able to learn, each of you, a little bit more about over the past few days, starting to feel the gravity of this task, this journey ahead of you, reflecting on how far you've come, even in such a short period of time, escaping danger, preparing to face new, unknown threats and mysteries, both external in the world around you and from within, as you are also feeling the beginning of personal journeys, being exposed to new sights, new sounds, plenty of new smells in this tavern, for certainly, and a little bit of apprehension about the journey ahead, but hopefully, possibly, feeling a little bit better about the company you're keeping. Would anyone like to say anything as you raise your glasses? And as you're going through the night, enjoying this wine and hopefully not being too hungover in the morning.
To a fantastic voyage.
Good voyage.
To a steady ship.
To the journey.
And there you have it. The first of many drinks from this bottle of wine until the bottle is empty at the end of the night. Everyone roll a Constitution check
Oh, for goodness sake.
before we close out.
15.
Not bad, not bad.
15.
14.
Also
Okay.
15.
Okay.
3 15s, wow.
Solidarity.
Yeah.
14s, 15s.
Just consistent port.
The stairs were definitely a little bit wobbly as you're walking back up to your rooms that evening. But you slept deeply, full of good wine, pretty good food, and some comfort at having been able to stay at least in one spot for a little bit longer. The next morning, you arise and you prepare to make your way down to the docks. There is a heavy fog rolling in on this cold morning. You walk up to the Aphis. Captain Nadia is there to greet you, welcoming you aboard. The wooden planks creak beneath your feet as you leave the dock and you make your way up the gangplank to the deck of the ship. The sea feels as though it is alive. You can feel it in the rocking of the ship, in the smell of the salt air, the feeling of the heavy, heavy mist around you. Bomb. The creaking of the ship is definitely different from the sounds and the speech of the trees in your home. But you can sense that this has a bit of a voice of its own. You don't quite know the language or the dialect, but you think in time you might be able to learn. Marlowe, it's like coming home. For the first time since you've set foot on solid land, you take a deep breath, and you feel like your lungs have actually filled to capacity. You release that sigh, that exhalation, and you feel lighter. You feel like anything that was compressing you down has just loosened. The ship to you feels more like a dance beneath your feet. Fenn, it's another new adventure. You feel like you can trust these people now. You're no longer running, but you have a heading. You have a place that you're going to. You don't know what necessarily lies there and wait, but you feel lighter as well for different reasons. Kendis. Lightness is perhaps not quite the word for what you may be feeling, but a sense of duty, perhaps. You know what lies ahead. It's been a long time since you've been on a ship, but in some ways, perhaps this trip, this journey back to the Athenium, which you were so quick to leave and escape from before, could be an opportunity. You know that the things that were being learned and used there are now being twisted and perverted for other darker purposes. You're feeling a bit of a sense of duty to try to bring justice to whoever created these devices. And you feel that insatiable thirst for knowledge that drove you to the Athenium in the first place bubble up even more, especially after having spent the past few days researching in a library with the peace of the books around you. A different sort of forest, but one that you're very familiar with and you take great comfort in. And you know that you have a bit of a duty to help protect and lead these people who are traveling with you as well as you go into a different type of challenge entirely now. And with that, the ship sets sail, the anchor is lifted, and you are on your way. And that concludes chapter 2 of The Heroes of Iyastera. You did it! You did it, guys! Y'all survived. You did some fun downtime shopping montage, getting to know some NPCs.
That was a great session. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the end of chapter 2. Yeah. So, we need to determine when our next session is. In the next couple of weeks at least. We'll figure it out. We'll get back to all y'all.
Yeah.
The next session, we are going to have a shift in system. Perhaps it'll be a little bit more of a gradual shift, but with the starting of chapter 3, we are no longer going to be using D&D 5th edition. Oh, I'm glad you like that, Artemis. We're no longer going to be using D&D 5th edition, but we are going to be using a new indie TTRPG system called Bard RPG. And I know I've been talking about it for a long time over the past, year. But Heroes of Iyastera, this campaign, will be the first unveiling of this system. The first true and very intensive play testing. The characters will not change. The story, the setting, the abilities you all have will not change. But the way in which you interact with the story, the way you drive the plot forward is going to be different. Your classes won't necessarily be classes, but archetypes with different associated abilities, strengths, weaknesses, and skills that you'll be able to bring to bear as you continue to write your adventure. And that is all I will say at this time. So, I'm very happy you folks enjoyed that. Aww, thank you, Artemis. That's very kind. Artemis said this is the first time I've ever sat through someone else's session, and I have to say it was so much fun. Bravo, the lot of you. Oh, much love and welcome to the Scribble crew. All right, we're gonna go ahead and close it there, because I do know it is quite late, a little bit later than we typically go for these sessions lately. But any announcements before we end for the evening?
Nothing from me. I'm taking a break from most of my things right now.
Yep.
So yeah.
Got Overall's Kickstarter launched in February.
Yes.
So
Yes.
please follow the pre-launch page if you haven't already. Join the other 650 people, which I'm quite excited about.
So good. Putting the tavern music back on for that one.
You can find the link at Hatchling DM on Twitter, or just search for Overalls on Kickstarter.
Oh no, the hero's command isn't working. You can see everyone's Twitter handle beneath their lovely, lovely faces in the overlay.
Yeah.
Be sure to follow these fine people for more adventures and more updates for future stories and games. I don't have too much to announce other than Bard RPG coming at you. Bard Commune. The mentorship sessions are ongoing, and hopefully soon we'll be able to unveil we'll say, the next stage of the online platform for workshops, for mentorship sessions, and for collaborative space. That will be coming soon. And I've been releasing the Iyastera Cookbook Advent Calendar cards each day.
Yeah.
Some of which have been referenced in tonight's session. Go check it out on Twitter and Patreon to find out which ones. Every year I release these Advent Calendar bundles. The first year was Enchanted Items. The second year was Epic Deeds. And this one, of course, is food related because we all love food and we talk about it so much. So this is the Iyastera Cookbook Bundle. They are for free. You don't have to be a patron to get these cards. And they will be continuing on through the end of the month until the new year. And then, of course, the full bundle will be released all together for the patrons. So go check that out if you like. If you enjoy food, if you enjoy lore, it's a nice little combination of both. But aside from that, that's about it. Obviously, streaming next week will be a little bit different. I will be streaming on Tuesday for Chill Creation, and we'll see what else. The Thursday, however, will be a little bit different because that's getting pretty darn close to Christmas. I don't think we'll be streaming next Thursday, but we'll stay tuned. Perhaps the week after. We'll have to figure out what our schedules are looking like for the beginning of Chapter 3. But that's all I've got. All right. Cool. Any last words before we go back to our wonderful opening video? Okay.
Thanks, Scriv.
Nope, nothing.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.
And I hope you all, if we don't see you, hope you have a wonderful holiday. Enjoy this time of year. It can be difficult in a lot of ways. It can be joyful in a lot of ways. But take time to take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Find a way to cherish the friendships and the relationships that you have with those around you. Whether those are friends, family, loved ones, pets. I'm going to be enjoying it with my dog and cat. And online friendships absolutely count. All right. Have a nice night, everyone. Keep adventuring, keep scribbling, and we will see you next time. Bye.
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 Cue intro. Woo!